Hey, so the other day, one of the agents in our office sent me this clip of this guy that sold his home entirely by using ChatGPT. Didn't hire an agent. Essentially, it's a for sale by owner, but he wanted to see if he could sell the entire home and, of course, save money while he's at it and go through the entire process with only ChatGPT. Check this video out.
We use ChatGPT for a lot of things, but would you use it to sell your home? A South Florida father said, sure, why not? Before scheduling an open house, he relied on an open algorithm using ChatGPT and artificial intelligence throughout the entire home sale process. And he says it saved him tens of thousands of dollars.
Let me just put this out there. I've got to say, this guy just looks like he loves to save money. Like he really wants to save money on everything he can. All right, so let's continue.
It's this week's Innovation on 6.
So this is the house. We're really going to miss it.
After 15 years in his Cooper City home, Robert Levine decided it was finally time to sell. But instead of contacting a real estate agent, he turned to the power of the prompt. ChatGPT.
I really wanted to challenge myself to use AI for the entire journey, not just piecemeal, every step along the way.
The married father of 3 says he used artificial intelligence for everything. The planning, the pricing, the marketing, even the paint.
We repainted a couple of rooms in the house because ChatGPT said that's where you're going to get the biggest return on investment. The most important thing it did for us was build out a timeline. Here's when you need to start packing your house.
ChatGPT helped Robert design the marketing materials like his open house handout and the online listing. Then told him how to get his home listed on the MLS, the multiple listing service, scheduled his showings.
And some of you guys know, I mean, there are services out there that'll charge you a flat fee just to list it on the MLS. So that's out there. We already know that. You don't particularly need to hire a listing agent to put your home on the MLS.
And suggested the best day to list his home.
We ended up listing on a Tuesday.
Turned out to be terrific timing.
And I think within the first 72 hours, we had 5 offers on the home already, which was tremendous.
The Levines still held the open house scheduled for that following Saturday, but by Sunday morning, 5 days after listing their home, they had a signed contract. A contract generated by, you guessed it, ChatGPT.
It's exceeded our expectations.
Robert did hire a lawyer to review the contract and other legal documents, but other than that, his AI assistant did all the heavy lifting. So why did he do it? One of his biggest motivations was saving money.
We estimate that leveraging these AI tools will save us about 3% of the total sale price.
So here's what's interesting about that, 3%. I mean, that kind of tells me, and what I see with a lot of for sale by owners, which essentially he is, he's a for sale by owner. This is nothing new, by the way. People have tried to sell their homes on their own for many, many years. And what I've learned from contacting and taking over listings that for sale by owners couldn't initially sell themselves is they are actually willing to pay buyer's agents. You know, a lot of them are, but they don't want to pay a listing agent. They want to do that part themselves, but they also recognize that over 90% of buyers out there are coming with a buyer's agent, and there might be some compensation involved with all that. So, all right, so he's saying he could save at least 3%. So I'm curious if after he did all that, he got the 5 offers, like he said, if one of those offers was from a buyer's agent, maybe, maybe not. I mean, he did say he drafted a contract with ChatGPT, so who knows?
Which in our case is a meaningful amount of money.
Robert stresses that every case is different, and AI isn't going to replace realtors, but it is a part of our evolving world, including real estate.
The impact they make is very real. And some folks maybe aren't prepared to do that themselves, but the more you use AI, the more confident you'll become in leveraging those tools.
For almost everything, Robert did find one thing ChatGPT couldn't help him do, and that's pack up all the moving boxes when it's time to move into their new home. But ChatGPT did help him pick out the move.
All right, so let's talk about ChatGPT. Now here's, I'll basically put it this way. This guy is a for sale by owner. That means simply put, that's what he is. He can, and for sale by owners, I mean, this is nothing new. They're either going on ChatGPT, or before ChatGPT, they were Googling all this stuff, like how to, put the home on the MLS. What's the best day to market the property? All that stuff is there. Now, here's what I'm curious to know. He said he got 5 offers within the first 72 hours. And if you're a real estate agent out there, if you get 5 offers within the first 72 hours, there's a good chance, very, very strong possibility, that the home was priced under or below market value, at least in today's market. If this is 2021, 2022, with 3% interest rates, may be different. But right now, if I list a property, or I see a property that has 5 offers within 72 hours, it was definitely priced below market value. And that's okay too. That, we don't know how much it came. Maybe there was a bidding war. Maybe it ended up going under contract above market price. But I'm really interested in it because he actually didn't even mention what the closing price was. He didn't mention that, because of this, ChatGPT helped me net X amount of dollars, more than what I even expected. Or, he didn't even mention it sold for above list price. And if there's anything to, I don't know, brag about, hey, I use ChatGPT, I've saved 3%. If there's anything you want to brag about, and I sold it for above list price. But he didn't mention that. So that tells me there's a good chance he did not sell it at list price, more than likely below list price, or at, with the 5 offers. Now, here's the other thing. He said what he wanted to do is he wanted to save tens of thousands of dollars. Now, we get that. Look, we all want to save money. We all want to make sure that we can, and not leave any money on the table. That's great and all. But I think where sellers or kind of miss the mark on this one is this. A real estate agent, there's a very good chance they will undoubtedly get you more money on your property. And here's why. Not just because they know what color to tell you to paint the house or what day to list it on the market. I mean, Google can tell you that. That's nothing new. You don't need a real estate agent for that. But one thing a real estate agent can do that I don't think AI can do, I don't think other people can do, is a real estate agent can give you real market experience, and they can leverage other agents in their network to bring in more buyers. Look, let's face it, over 90% of buyers are coming with another agent representing them. And I don't know about you guys, if I have a buyer, there are, and I'm, we're looking for properties, most of the time the properties that we're looking at are going to be on the MLS, the multiple listing service. We're not looking at, driving through the neighborhood looking for a rinky-dink, red, for sale sign. And I know he did say that he did list it on the MLS. And when I look at the property, I'm also looking at who's the listing agent. If I see that the listing agent is the seller, that's a big red flag. It's a for sale by owner. I'm really concerned from a liability standpoint. I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm really worried about it. But also at the same time, I'm kind of like, well, maybe this is actually a good opportunity. This person might not have a clue on what they're doing. I have a clear advantage when it comes to negotiating. So those are some of the things that stood out to me. Now, another thing that stands out is he said he used ChatGPT for all these things, for marketing materials, open house flyers, on advice on when to list it and all that stuff. Here's the crazy part. That's exactly what real estate agents are doing right now. They are going to ChatGPT and making these flyers. They're going to ChatGPT asking, hey, when should I list this property? Give me the best property description for this. Now, here's the thing. I'm all for finding leverage with AI. I think it can save us a lot of time. It can help us a lot as real estate agents to sell properties. But think about it this way. We were just at family reunion, and one of the keynote speakers, she said something very interesting. She said, AI will only replace the agents, the real estate agents, that are using AI to replace themselves. Meaning, these are all things, if you're looking at AI to do your job for the most part and really using that to replace themselves, you are essentially creating that issue. And the more you feed into AI, the better it's going to be. The better it's going to be at knowing this process. So if you're worried about AI taking your job as a real estate agent, you might want to really think long and hard about, am I going to use AI to do this whole thing? Or am I going to use my own expertise? Or am I going to educate myself? Am I going to grow more and be that real estate expert that they are hiring me to be? Because let's face it, it's fair to say, hey, if I'm using AI to sell properties and only AI, then why would they need to pay me 3% of the sales price? They can just cut out the middle person and use AI. And on top of that, the more AI that agents are using, the better AI is going to get at all this. I think it's still pretty far from where it probably needs to be to get sellers the best possible price for their homes. But it will get there faster if we help AI get there faster. So I think that those are just some really important things to think about as real estate agents. I think my final point is this. Again, remember, this is nothing new. This guy is a for sale by owner that wanted to sell their property. And if you're coming across a seller that says, oh, you know what, well, I don't know if I want to hire a real estate agent. I want to do this myself. I think we really need to practice our dialogues, our scripts on what to say to a for sale by owner, whether they're using ChatGPT or not. We need to really practice. And here's the thing, even the sellers that are hiring us, even the sellers that have signed a listing agreement with us, they are running everything through ChatGPT as well. You better believe it. And if you're not on top of your game, they will question everything that you're doing if it doesn't align with what ChatGPT is telling them about all this. So go out there, hone your skills, improve it with everything, learn the market, learn the process, use ChatGPT, use Gemini, use those things for a certain amount of leverage. I think that's really good to do, but make sure that you are not helping AI replace who you are as the professional.